I think most top pros would agree that it's very important to not only practice your competitive routines, but to practice basic material as well.
So I think that transitions really well into talking about no matter if you're a beginner, an intermediate, an advanced, or a very advanced instructor, how can we continue to recenter ourselves and put the importance on going back to the basics and focusing on that at whatever level we are?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you're right. I'm a firm believer of continuing education because the dance industry is such that you can never know everything. You're on this continual learning path. So yes, I still go back to England and I get my coaching because I want to know, whether I agree or disagree, what the latest teaching techniques are, how I can improve my own coaching, what tidbits of information I can glean, what can I use, what can I translate, what's going to be valuable for me to teach my own students and to teach other couples and to teach other pros. So I'm a huge believer of continuing education, whether it's getting coaching or whether it's continuing your dancing degrees with whichever society that you're with. And certainly at the moment, I've noticed with the current situation we're in, which I know we're not going to get into today, there has been an uptick in interest from professionals that are interested in getting theory coaching. That's something that I specialize in. Either I work with candidates that are training for either DVIDA or the USISTD. There has definitely been more interest recently, with, of course, a lot of people have more time on their hands. But going back to your part of your question about the importance of basics, I think most top pros would agree that it's very important to not only practice your competitive routines, but to practice basic material as well. When I was competing professionally in the 90s, up to 2000, the USISTD ran 3 competitions a year, and they always had a professional basics division. Mm. And most of, if not all of the pros, whether it was standard or Latin, would compete not only in the open, but also in the professional basics. And I think this was very, very valuable. And it was very interesting because some of the couples that would do relatively well in the open division would not play so well in the closed division. And what I mean by basics, it was close to the best. You could dance bronze, silver, or gold, but you couldn't dance above gold. That's what I mean by basics competition. I think there's only one event now that I'm aware of, there may be more, and that's Virginia State, that also continued that tradition. But again, you can spend years on a feather step and reverse turn and 3-step. You can spend years on the swing of a 1, 2, 3 and a natural turn. And so to have some basic material that you can practice, I think is very, very, very valuable. I love to know how a figure can be taught. How do you teach this when I go to England for coaching myself? What is the latest way of teaching this? Because as we know, dancing has evolved a lot. When you look at today's dancing compared with dancing, say, the 50s, and then when you can compare it to the 1930s, it's vastly, vastly different. Mm-hmm. There's one thing, though, it's interesting because I was researching the double reverse spin, which is a bronze international waltz figure. Mm-hmm. And the double reverse spin was invented by a guy called Maxwell Stewart. Okay. Maxwell Stewart won the first ever World Professional Ballroom Championship in 1924. And he introduced the double reverse spin at those championships. And he danced two double reverse spin, there were two in a row. And apparently it caused an absolute sensation when it was introduced. The crowd went wild. And what's very interesting about Maxwell Stewart is that if you go onto YouTube, you can see him dancing. And it's quite fascinating because although dancing was in its infancy, and the hold is much more social, it's much more upright, it's almost like Argentine tango, it's very more intimate, because of course competitive ballroom dancing was based on social dancing, and there was not a huge amount of difference between the two in those days. But the quality of movement is really quite lovely to see. Same thing when you look at Alex Moore, some old videos of Alex Moore dancing as well. Beautiful, beautiful quality of movement. I think sometimes that's what we lack today. You know, everybody's so concerned about dancing the latest figure and getting these really unusual shapes and stuff. I think quality of movement today, I would much rather see a beautiful feather reverse turn three-step than some exotic configuration of figures that is over choreographed and where the timing is just, you know, how many syncopations can you fit in a bar of music? Yeah. So to me, I would much prefer to see quality over quantity.